Spirit wanted me to build upon today was feelings, these ethereal things that we hate, that we don't want to talk about, that we avoid, that we judge, that are uncomfortable, that we have never learned, even in our childhood, never learned how to process. You know, these things called feelings. And so that came up. I heard the other day, I just said, in your feelings. And so, you know how you tell people they in their feelings, they in their feelings. And so these things called feelings, we attach so much to them, good feelings and bad feelings. We attach to feelings versus learning how to feel. What are feelings? How do I feel it? What is it telling me? And how do I process it? How do I release it? We attach to feelings, again, both good and bad. And so I feel like we are, as a human race, and especially as people of color, as Black folk, we don't afford ourselves spaces to feel anything, because we have been taught to be strong, to numb, to get over it, to keep going. There is no space for feelings. Even so much so, and this irritates me, because my kids say, I like, if somebody asks how I'm feeling, you gonna hear how I'm feeling, you know? I'm blah, 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 blah. And it's more because I am a communicator and I like to talk. But a lot of times people ask you that and they really don't give a fuck how you feeling. Like, for real. It's just something that they asked, or, how you feeling? How you, just in general. And they sure in the hell ain't prepared for the response from someone who is like, yeah, this is what, and I'll be like, well, you asked, but a lot of times we're not even prepared. What we'll say is, oh, I'm doing good. I'm okay. It's cool, because it has become like this passe thing. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm okay. You hear that all the time. I'm okay. Because we feel like people don't have the capacity or the compassion to even really care about how we're feeling. And not just people, but we don't. We don't have the capacity, the space, the compassion to sit with our own feelings. So we definitely don't expect anybody else to. And then when we try to express our feelings to other people, the people close to us, our partners or our parents or our closest friends, and they don't act or respond in a way that we think that they should, then again, that gives us a space to push the feelings back, to suppress the feelings again. Oh, this person didn't validate my feelings. And so, in order to feel we need to have this validation, or we need to have this external thing that validates the way we feel, versus allowing ourselves to feel however we feel, even if it's irrational. We judge our feelings. It could be the most irrational thing that we're feeling, but we're feeling it, so it's coming from somewhere. It could be coming from a something being triggered from our childhood. It could be coming something triggered from a past lifetime. It could be you don't know where it's all coming from, but when you feel a particular way, you feel a particular way. Allow yourself to feel it. Have the experience, have the feeling. Don't judge it, don't suppress it, don't avoid it, and don't think it's something wrong. That's the first thing. When when people are not feeling, you may not be feeling whatever external energies is going on for that day. You're just not feeling the day. And then the minute that you say, I don't know how I'm feeling protect. What's wrong? Well, what's wrong? Well, why you feel that way? Well, I don't know why I feel this way. I just feel this way. But when we don't know, when our mind says, okay, you don't know, that's something, we judge that as something wrong. Like, how come, what do you mean you don't know why you feel this way? I feel bad today, but I should. And then we talk ourselves out of how we feel. I shouldn't feel bad. I should feel grateful. I should feel this. I should be feeling better. I should have gotten over this by now. I should have, and so then we go to all of these places that, again, stop us from being authentic with the way that we feel, because now we're trying to shift it. Now we're trying to force ourselves to feel something different. And that never really works, because we don't even honor what it is that we're feeling in the moment. So what are feelings? Feelings are antennas, are tentacles. It gives us information. When we're feeling happy, it's giving us information about, what is bringing about this happiness. When a lot of times we feel happy in relationships just because we're connected to somebody. We don't even have to like the person. A lot of times we don't like our partners. We don't like them, but we feel connected. And so what is that telling me? That's telling me I need connection. Okay, so if I wasn't in this relationship or in this partnership, can I still cultivate a sense of connection? How can I cultivate this sense of connection within me? Okay. And so feelings, they tell us, they give us information. There are our antennas. And when we negate our feelings, when we judge our feelings, when we suppress our feelings, we block ourselves from that extrasensory communication, that internal communication that we need to make better decisions, to make different choices, to move into different spaces, to release things that don't serve us. Like, all of these things are part and parcel to us being able to feel. And what you find is that when you're numb, when you have disconnected from feeling, when you have shut down your emotional centers, when you are, I just got to be strong. I just got to push through. I don't have time to cry. I don't have time to feel. I don't have time. I got to do this. When you shut, that's when you're the most vulnerable, because you can't feel. That's when people take advantage of you the most, because you're not sensing, you're not feeling. That's when you find yourself in the most hairiest situations. You're not connected to your body. You're not, and that's where feeling happens. Feeling happens in your body, not in your head. Because in your head, your mind, that's your central processing unit. It's just gonna go and do whatever you tell it to do. Don't care nothing about no feelings. And so feelings are the things that tell us, no, I need you to stop for a moment. I need you to course correct. I need you to shift. Or, yeah, I need more of this. How do we find our joy? We allow ourselves to be in joy and feel it. Another thing about feelings is that we don't allow ourselves to get to these extremes in feelings. Again, how are you doing? Oh, I'm okay. Oh, I'm well. And so there's fear around being like extremely happy and joyous and exuberant. Why? Because feelings are fleeting, both good and bad. And so when we're in these spaces, we don't even allow ourselves, like when somebody compliments you and you're feeling good about it, I don't want to feel too good, because somebody else or something else may come along and knock me back into whatever denser vibration or state I was in. And so there's some fear there about allowing ourselves to be so big and so exuberant. And then there's some fear there in allowing ourselves to feel the full range of emotions if we are in pain, if we are grieving, if we are, not feeling well, if we are being triggered, and so we don't even, it's like, nope, I can't allow myself to feel that way because I might go off. I might do this. I might do that. I can't go there. I can't, and so there we are not taught. We are not taught emotional intelligence. We are not taught how to process feelings, how to deal with feelings. We're not even taught how to feel. You think about children, and this goes back to kids. When we're little, think about the kid who's throwing a temper tantrum. Immediately, the first thing we want to do is silence them. Get over here, be quiet, stop doing this, stop doing that. So they don't even know how to regulate their feelings. All they know is that their feelings are not being validated. You don't have anything to cry about. You don't have, that immediate. So they don't know what to do with these feelings. They little kids. They, how do they just feel. And a lot of times they're feeling this way because they're eating the wrong foods. A lot of times they're feeling this way because they didn't get enough sleep. Just like we don't, how we feel when we don't get enough sleep. Well, kids don't get enough sleep either. A lot of times they're picking up energies from their classmates. They're at school and they got some kids either bullying them or picking on them or projecting their shit. Everybody come from crazy households, but they bring those households into the classroom. And so you have a kid who may be sensitive and they're in the classroom with 30, 40 other sensitive kids. That's a lot of overstimulation. And so when they come into the house and they're overstimulated or they're angry or they're upset or they're despondent or we instantly, what's wrong with you? Stop feeling that way. You shouldn't feel that way. Or go to your room. Or we don't validate their feelings, as well as our feelings were never validated. So feelings for us is very uncomfortable because our parents told us, stop crying before I give you something to cry about. Stop doing this. Stop throwing the temper. You don't act like this in public. You don't do this. You don't, and so we learn how to suppress our feelings. We learn how to dumb it down. We learn how to numb out. We learn that nobody is really interested in how we feel. Nobody is really interested. The minute that you try to express how you feel, everybody's like, why are you in your feelings? She in her feelings. Why are you in your feelings? So, or people around, be quiet. Stop what you crying for. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And so that child learns that their feelings aren't valid. They learn that crying is not accepted. That they're and they grow up becoming numb and hardened. And anytime they cry, they're judging themselves because now it's been so ingrained. Why am I crying? I need to stop crying. I need to toughen up. And so we start having these conversations with ourselves and we're not being authentic. We're not allowing ourselves to feel. And then we're giving, and then we lose again our sense of our antennas are not working anymore. And so now we don't know when we should cry. We don't know when we should feel anything. We don't know who's in our corner and who's not in our corner. And, and so everything becomes like we don't trust. We don't trust ourselves anymore. We don't trust our feelings anymore. We don't allow ourselves to feel it anymore. We live in a culture, in a society that says, survival of the fittest. Like, you got to be strong. You got to be, in my study, I'm writing up all the results for my dissertation. And I had one participant in the study, a Black woman, said, I don't want to be strong no more. I'm tired of being strong. Because in being strong, it's keeping me from being in vulnerable, loving relationships. It's keeping me from choosing partners that honor me because I'm so strong. So I'm going to hold it down for both of us because I got this. Because I'm so strong. So I'm going to pull you up along. I'm going to pull you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I'm so strong. So it doesn't allow you to get into equitable partnerships where you get to be vulnerable, where you get to be soft, where you get to be loved. You know, because you're used to being so strong and so rigid and push through anything. I was having this conversation with my mom because I was telling her about the some of the results from the study, and that was one thing that kept. And she was like, "Well, you better be strong. You got to be strong in this world, because if you're not strong in this world, people will walk all over you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's not it." And I get it. That's part of our experience. I definitely get it. But if you are in that survival frame of mind, your body will short circuit. You cannot be in this strong survivalist, feel nothing, be hard, be strong, push through. If you do that all the way up until you 50, 60, 70 years, your body will show the effects of it. Your mental state of being will display the effects of it. Your central nervous system will short circuit. That is not our natural state of being. It's nothing natural about that. We should not have to be in survival mode 24/7. In a fight and flight mode 24/7. And for most of us, that's all we know, because you're only going by what you're taught. You know, and so to reprogram that, to deconstruct that, it takes work. It takes you to intentionally do the work. It takes you to intentionally allow yourself to feel, because you're not used to feeling. And so when feelings come up, you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. The more healing work I do on myself, the more sensitive I become. And I get this from my boys a lot, and it pisses me off. Like, you're so sensitive now. Everything hurts your feelings. You're so sensitive. And here's the deal is that we can't allow, and that's what other people will tell you as you begin to allow yourself to feel, as you allow yourself to cry, as you allow yourself to create boundaries and start pushing back on things that don't feel good for you. People will judge you, and they will say, you know, you crying all the time. You so sensitive, the least little thing. Hey, if you can't accept that part of me, then get out of my space. Because this is where I'm at. I'm not going to allow you to talk to me this way. I'm not going to. And when you're sensitive, it's a lot of stuff that you start creating all of these boundaries because it don't feel good no more. It's one thing to be numb and strong and numb and it don't bother you. You know, I can push through anything. But when you become open and vulnerable and allow yourself to feel, you're going to change some shit. Some shit is going to change in your life. You are just not going to accept everything anymore. You're just not. You know, you just. And so I wrote a couple of things. How can you begin to feel again? And again, this is a reprogramming that we have to do with ourselves. It's not just going to happen. We have to do it. It's just like decolonizing. We have to deprogram, because again, we haven't been given safe spaces for us to be authentic in our feelings. So how can you begin to feel? A couple of things I jotted down. Trust your feelings, be it if they're rational or irrational. It doesn't matter. Don't judge it. Because a lot of times we'll say our feelings are irrational when they're rooted in fears and phobias and not feeling safe. And so this is what made me think about this too. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that's going through some things at work. And he said, I'm getting emotional thinking about this. And this is coming from a man, right? A Black man. He said, I don't feel safe. And I had to sit with that. In order to allow yourself to feel that and then to be able to express it is powerful. I don't feel safe. How many times have we been on these jobs and we feel like it's some backstabbing stuff going? We feel like, our job is at risk, or the company is downsizing and don't nobody like you anyway. So you next on the chopping block and all of these things. And you feel a kind of way, but to say, I don't feel safe, And so whether it be rational or irrational, don't judge how you feel. Because that's information. Again, those tentacles, those antennas, that's telling you something. Even if it's an irrational fear, it's telling you that fear is there. So what is it that I need to do or can do to move this fear? And again, as I gave a call as an example, it could be triggered. It could be triggered by something that happened in your childhood that you're not aware of. It could be a past life hurt or trauma, which people, even yourself, would judge as irrational. But allow yourself to feel it anyway without having to know what it is. Just trust it, and it'll pass. Again, feelings pass. Feelings are not permanent. Unless we attach to them. And so that's when your tools come into play. How do I move it? How do I not attach to it? And that's the second thing. Don't stay stuck or attached to the feeling. No matter if the feeling is positive or negative, no matter if it's extreme joy. You have some people who experience happiness or joy, and then they become addicted to it, or this adrenaline rush, and they, are chasing this feeling because now they're attached to it. They're addicted to it, and they're chasing this feeling. So don't allow yourselves to become attached to feelings. Allow yourself to feel it fully in all the expressions of it, either rational or irrational. Feel it and then release it. Don't let it take up permanent residency in your head, in your thoughts. Feelings, again, are your antennas. If you're numb, you dull them, and it takes away your superpowers, like for real. Your feelings are your superpowers. These are your indicators to let you know what's going on with you. Bad, good, and different don't matter. But when you don't allow yourself to feel and connect and tap into those feelings, you're just out there with this armor, with this shielding on, and you just pushing through everything. Not even living, walking dead. Don't take sensitivity to your feelings as a weakness. Again, the example that I gave about my son, you're so sensitive now. You're so sensitive. Use your tools to help you move those energies, those feelings in a healthy, productive way. And teach your children too. Teach your grandbabies, teach your children. Ask them how they feel. People don't even ask children how they feel, because they don't want to hear the answer, because kids gonna tell you. Invite them into conversations about feelings, so they're not afraid, so they don't suppress them, so they don't ignore them, so they don't hide them. And you use your tools. You journal. You feel. Feelings is hard because people will shit on your feelings. And so you got to be courageous enough to feel it and say, oh, okay, this is somebody who will shit on my feelings. I won't share that, but I'm not going to stop feeling. And if you're discerning enough with your feelings, you're going to get rid of that person, period, in your life who shit on your feelings. Or you're going to disconnect, or you're going to disengage. My new motto now, and I use this a lot with my kids, I'm withdrawing my energy. Period. I will be hanging this phone up. I will be disconnecting. I will be leaving the room. I will be like, I'm disconnecting my energy. Disengage. I'm not going to let you continue as I'm expressing my feelings, or, no, cut. So be mindful of your feelings and move accordingly. And here's the biggest one. Your feelings are your feelings. They belong to you. You don't need nobody to validate them, to accept them, to empathize with them. That's your job. That's your work. So if you want to sit up there and hold other people accountable for your feelings, you always going to keep them suppressed. You never going to keep them out, because again, people don't know how to deal with their own feelings, let alone yours. And so don't allow other people, again, to continue to help you suppress your feelings. You'll share something with somebody and they won't respond. I'll give a perfect example, what I've learned to do, because as a Leo, I'm a Leo. We can be kind of emotional. We could be kind of, Keisha, like we could be kind of like sometimes drama, especially when it comes to feelings and emotions. We're not good at that at all. It's like fire. You're like, shh. And so I give you an example. My partner and I were in this conversation, and I was feeling a particular way. And I know, and he's a Scorpio. Scorpios are sensitive and they'll sting your ass. Yeah. And so our communication sometimes was like, So I said, in order, and if I get stung, a lion gets stung, it's over with. You finna I'm gonna let your ass have it. But anyway, so I said, you know what, to avoid this, because a lot of times communications get in the way in our ability to express our feelings. And so I said, I'm going to try something different this time. In order for me to be fully present in how I feel without getting sidetracked in the communication of how I feel, I'm going to write out everything. I'm going to wait until I'm calm, cool, collected. I'm going to write out how I feel. I got to get clear with how I feel. Kim, how do you feel? A lot of times we be so caught up in emotionality that it's just like, I don't even feel that way. Like I'm just tripping, or like I'm just in the moment. But getting clear with so I sat down, I said, let me get clear with how I feel. I took a couple of deep breaths. I said, okay, how do you feel, Kim? How do you feel? And I wrote out how I felt. And so then the next day, I'm like, I want to talk to you. I'm going to read this to you, because you need to know how I feel about this situation without all the emotionality, without all the drama. And so that might be a way, even if you don't share it with anybody, it's your job. It's your work to get clear. Nobody is going to, most people don't validate your feelings because they're yours. They can't understand why and how they don't have your journey and your experience and your triggers and your childhood and your past life. You're unique. So a lot of times they can't relate. And so your stuff is your stuff, your feelings. So the only person that needs to understand and to validate your feelings is you. And so practice that. Work through that. A lot of times we feel like we got to explain why we feel to others. Like we owe people an explanation for feeling a particular. You don't owe nobody shit. You owe you, and that, as long as you clear, that's all that matters. But that's the work, and we don't get clear. We look for other people to do the work for us. We look for other people. Well, let me tell you how I feel, and then let me get some feedback from you in terms of how I feel. No. How about you sit with how you feel? How about you move how you feel? You feel it. You allow yourself to feel it, experience it. You move it. You use your tools to deal with your own feelings. It's nobody else's job. You know, you get real with why you feel this way. You get real with why you don't trust yourself with your feelings. So you can fix it, you know, so you can shift it. And so that was it.